If you decide to fish, fine. If you decide to cut bait, fine. But if you do nothing, nobody eats. I ran into a woman at the Dallas-Fort Worth airport who had attended my seminar. I said, "Colleen, how are you?" She jumped, and she was so impressed that I remembered her name. I said, "Why are you impressed? You came to the workshop. You know what I'm doing. Sure, it's been 8 months since I met you along with 100 other people, but you can do that too. Colleen, you know the system." She said yes, she knows the system, and she thinks it's great, but she hasn't used it to the extent she should have. Every single person who takes this course will fall into one of two categories. 1, they will see value in the system and implement it into their daily lives, whether it's slowly or all at once. And 2, they see the value in the system, but because of the change that is required, fall back on the old method of no memory system. Right now, I want you to decide which category that you are going to be in. Give the system the benefit of the doubt right now, since you haven't actually learned the techniques. Tell yourself that you are not going to oppose this change, and you will see yourself recalling names, faces, numbers, and giving speeches without notes. In every aspect of life, not just memory training, there are comfort zones. It's hard to perform outside of the comfort zones. We get used to a way of doing things, and it's hard to change. A headline out of a local Seattle paper a few years ago read, "Justice grinds slow. Man wants back in jail." According to the newspaper article, the man was released from a penitentiary and found his 8 weeks of freedom to be terrifying. Most of us would find 8 weeks in a penitentiary terrifying. Why would 8 weeks on the streets be terrifying to this man? It was terrifying because he was outside of his self-image comfort zone. What happens when we are out of our comfort zone? Don't we have a tendency to get back where we belong, even though that is far short of what our potential could be? This man robbed a bank in Portland, Oregon, and waited to be caught. He appeared before the judge without any legal counsel. He said, "Why do I need counsel? I'm a 10-time loser." He said, "I would appreciate it if you forego the pre-sentence investigation so that I can go back home tomorrow." Home, in the article, he says, "I want to go home." Prison to him was home. It was a place he felt secure. It was his comfort zone. What is the imaginary ceiling in your life? Folks, change is tough. Hopefully, no one listening to this audiobook will ever experience this situation. However, I see people do this to different degrees every day. They are comfortable with the way they are doing things now, and the idea of change is scary, even if it is for the best for them. The change could be a diet, exercise, learning a foreign language, moving to a new town, going to a new school, or learning a method to recall information. Don't sell yourself short. Give yourself some credit. You have taken the action step to obtain this information, and now you are listening to it. Don't stop here. Let me repeat that. Don't stop here. What you are about to learn is over 2,500 years old. Can you believe these techniques have been around that long? In 477 BC, a Greek poet amazed everyone with his great memory. The story goes that the poet, Simonides, was at a banquet and had just left the building when the roof caved in and killed many of those attending. The bodies had to be identified, but they were crushed beyond recognition. Simonides came to the rescue and was able to recall the names of everyone and where they sat. Simonides claimed he did this by imagining the people in their places at the table during the banquet. Subsequently, a method of recalling information was derived, in part, from this experience. The Greeks developed a form of memory training called loci, a Latin word meaning places. We will go into more specific detail as to how this method works and how it can work for you shortly. In 1959, there was another breakthrough in the area of memory. A brain surgeon, Wilder Penfield, conducted some remarkable experiments on epileptic patients. Penfield found that when he touched parts of the patient's brain with a weak electronic